For the next hour, deepen your shade of green. This is the Shades of Green radio show, featuring the latest in technology, money-saving ideas, legislative updates, and all things green. The Shades of Green radio show is presented by the Green Alliance. Now here's your hosts, Paul Ira and Stan Hannell.
Good morning. This is Shades of Green radio show, simulcast on KDWN 720 AM and KDWN 101.5 FM. Our show is produced by Green Alliance of Nevada and sponsored by NV Energy. And like the man said, I'm your host, Paul Ira, here in studio with Stan Hannell and Cynthia Messina from NV Energy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And today we're talking PowerShift and saving energy again, which is one of our favorite topics. And Cynthia's been with us in the past. So tell us a little bit about yourself again, Cynthia. Introduce yourself and tell us about your background in the utility industry as well as your current role with NV Energy.
Certainly. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here again. I've been in the utility industry, I think, for about 20 years now. I actually started out when it was Nevada Power a number of years ago and went on to the Public Utilities Commission as the spokesperson there, and then for a number of years at Southwest Gas. And about 3 years ago, I came back to now NV Energy because I really liked what they were doing with the demand-side management and energy efficiency programs that the company had in place. And I thought that that was important, and sort of being a policy wonk at some point in time as a political science major, but then also working in communications, it was a great way to come back to the company and really get involved with PowerShift. It's when we were launching the umbrella name for all of the energy efficiency offerings that we have. So to be on the ground with that and to launch it and to see how we've grown the brand awareness, we've grown participation in the offerings. It's really been a good combination for me with my skills and my interest to be back at the company.
Well, it's good stuff you do. And I just had a question come to mind. It's not on the paper here. Compared to other utility companies, other states, how are we doing as far as programs?
Well, the smart thermostat program that we have, one of the last statistics I saw for that was that it's one of the largest in the country.
Oh, really?
So, yes. Okay. So we do encourage our customers to get that free smart thermostat. And what it is we install it for free. You participate in community energy events. So on days like today when it's about 110 outside, typically between 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon, the event usually lasts about 2 hours. We manage the flow of electricity to the home, and you participate in that event. You save energy and you save money. Mm-hmm. So it is one of the largest in the country, the participation that we have with it, and we are seeing some significant savings as more and more people sign up for that.
Well, I'm one of those guys. I work in the energy field, so I'm always looking at what's the difference between my inside temperature and outside temperature. And I've been approaching on some days now over 30 degrees difference.
Good, yeah.
And so that's kind of a big deal for people to understand how.
20 degrees is, I think, more normal. Yeah,
20 degrees is the average, but I've looked and it's all keeping up. And, back to I've remodeled this house. All that insulation I put in is really paying for itself.
Awesome. Yeah.
I want to buy some more. It's doing so well. I don't know if it'll do me any good, but I really love what it's doing. The house feels so much better. Well, I just wanted to get a perspective for our listeners that Nevada is a green state, and NV Energy is doing a great job, and they have good programs, and people are not participating in it. When I talk to folks, I go, do you have the free thermostat from NV Energy? And they go, no. I go, dummy. It's free. Did I mention it's free? And they come out and put it in for you. All you have to do is make a phone call. Pick up the phone, make a phone call, and they'll come out and look at your house and tell you what else you need to do. And maybe give you some free light bulbs and change your filters and what have you. So they didn't do that at my house, by the way.
Oh, well, we'll have to have them come back out then.
I'm looking forward to that. So very good. So what other conservation efforts and energy efficiency practices does NV Energy offer or recommend here in the Mojave Desert?
Yes, as we said, we really recommend the free smart thermostat. It's about a $300 value, and a typical home will save, depending on your usage, about $100 a year on your energy bill. Mm-hmm. But what it also does, it gives you convenience. If you're away, if you're traveling and you want to monitor the temperature in the home, if you have children at home and you want to make sure that the thermostat is somewhere where you feel that it's manageable for them to be comfortable, it's a great way to check the temperature in the home. And if you're away, you can take care of it that way. And then when you know you're coming home, if you need to adjust the temperature, whether it's heating or cooling season, then you can do it that way. We also install up to 3 per home. 3 or 4 per home if you have more than one thermostat.
Oh, that's great. So if you have a larger
do that,
home.
yes. And we're working on it now. Soon it will be Alexa enabled, so you'll be able to talk to your
Voice
thermostat
controlled.
like you can talk to everything else in your home.
Well, I'm going to need that upgrade. I've got Google talking to me already. I'm like, what was that? And who's that woman in my kitchen? She hears something, and then she'll say something, and I turn the TV down. I go, Google, repeat that. And
Yes.
starts talking to me again. I go, where'd that come from?
So yes.
Big sister's listening.
It has to get used to that
Yes, you do.
virtual helper there.
I always think of like my friends who are named Alexis or Alexa or Alexi, and then when they're in their home and someone's calling them, and then Alexa turns on. So
Right,
I'm
yeah.
sure that's interesting as well.
You got to need to change their name after.
Yeah, my daughter's going to name their next son Google. So. Okay, Google.
So, yes.
Okay, so how can NV Energy customers and ratepayers set up their My Account? I know this is important. And why is it important for them?
The My Account is really easy. Just go online, nvenergy.com, and sign up. You create your own password. It gives you all of your account information. You can sign up for the equal payment plan and take a online energy assessment, which is something that we also encourage our customers to do. You get all of your bill information. You'll also be provided with information on outages when they are frequently here in Nevada. And it's just another great way to look at what's going on with your energy use and to manage your account and to manage your monthly bill payments.
Yeah.
Well,
Gives you more awareness of the grid, what's going on in grid-wise.
Right, with the grid, yes. And it's not that we have outages frequently here, but they do occur, and people need to know that electricity is it's a life-saving energy force that we have in our homes, for lack of a better way of saying it. But I mean, it's something that's vital to us. If customers are on equipment at home, medical equipment, and they need to know what's going on, it keeps us connected, and it's just another tool that you have so that you know what's going on in your community.
That's very good. And with our monsoon season, we can usually count on a monsoon event taking out a power line someplace during the year. So it does happen, but it is infrequent, thankfully. Yeah.
We could talk monsoon all day. So we're going to be back to Shades of Green on KDWN. We'll be right back. And we're back to Shades of Green on KDWN 720 AM and 101.5 FM. Our show is produced by Green Alliance and sponsored by NV Energy. And speaking of NV Energy, we have Cynthia Messina in from NV Energy. We're talking PowerShift program today. When we went to the break, we were talking about monsoons. And that weather coming up has a huge effect on your air conditioning. When the humidity rises, it costs more to air condition. I don't know if people realize that, but you have to also wring all that moisture out of the air as well. So it's important to take advantage of these programs. And Cynthia, tell us some more about the PowerShift program. First off, how can people find your website? What's your URL?
Yes, it's nvenergy.com/PowerShift, and you can also give us a call if that's more convenient, and that number is 855-676-9373. And our PowerShift Energy advisors can tell you the products that we have, the free products and services that we have. You can sign up for that free smart thermostat, as well as make an appointment to have a free in-home energy assessment, which is something that we really encourage our customers to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that free home energy assessment in a minute, but if someone has questions for Cynthia, myself, or Stan, our number is 702-257-5396. So what can people expect when they call and get that in-home inspection?
It really gives you great insight into the energy use of your home. We have an energy advisor who comes out. It takes about an hour. And what he will do is...
So it's almost like counseling.
It's counseling for your home. It's energy efficiency counseling, yes. But it helps you save energy and money. So he will talk to you about how many people are in your household, what the schedule is, what time people are coming and going, how you're using energy. They take a look at the insulation levels in the home, the lighting. Do you have LED lights or other lighting that might be using up more energy? The age of the appliances. You had mentioned the air conditioning unit. Is that unit an older unit? So is it operating longer, harder, and is it using more energy and then not cooling the home? Is it the right size for the home? Because oftentimes you can maybe add a room onto a home or something changes structurally. Is that still the right size unit that you have in the home? Looking at when you're running your appliances, oftentimes you'll see that when you're running your dishwasher during the day, it throws a lot of heat. So maybe making a recommendation that that's something that you should do later in the day when the heat of the sun isn't beating down on us as, it's doing this time of the year. The washer and dryer, what are the age of those appliances? And something that's also very important is the windows. Are the windows covered? Mm-hmm. Are they insulated in some way? Do they have film over them? Especially if they're windows that are facing south or west, they get a lot of the heat of the day with the sun, the way it's going around our valley. Are those windows covered? And they have one of the most interesting things. It's a little infrared gun that they aim.
Infrared thermometer.
Yes.
Right.
And the first time I saw it, I was really amazed by it. But it tells you how much heat is getting absorbed and what you can do. Again, the energy advisor will tell you what you can do, what kind of covering you can put on those windows to lessen the amount of heat that gets absorbed and then that heat coming into the home. Because then when the home heats up, as you well know, that's more that you have to cool, and that would cause you to use more energy and money. And we really do want our customers to save energy and money. That's the purpose of the PowerShift offerings that we have. We're continually looking at ways to make improvements with that. Of course, the offerings that we have are approved by the Public Utilities Commission. So it's something that we do work in a regulated environment, and we do have to go to the commission for approval. But we're continually looking to see what we can do for our customers to help them save. And one of the other things with the in-home energy assessment that we've been able to do this past year are some direct installs of some free products that we offer to our customers. Again, the energy advisor will replace some of the LED light bulbs in the house. Also, the dusk to dawn dimmers for outside lights for your garage light.
The light sensor.
We'll put those in. I love those. I really
clever.
do love them because then I don't have to worry about if the light's on or off. And I know that when I come home and it's dark out or during the night, those lights are on. That's very important. And then air filters. Air filters are very important with...
For HVAC.
Yes, for our HVAC units. Thank you. They'll replace those. And, especially for some people, I don't like climbing on a ladder anymore. I don't think that I'm that nimble or flexible. So they will also do that for our customers. And you can get one of those in-home energy assessments once a year. So good. Even if you had one last year, please don't hesitate to give us a call and we'll send someone out again to do that for you.
Tremendous.
The next time I have someone come on, I'm calling you.
Okay.
I want my free products. So we promote your product, your processes and your offerings because they are a great idea. Yeah. I had an epiphany this weekend. I just changed my tank water heater out to a tankless water heater, and it's in my laundry room, which is in the very center of the house. So the entire laundry room is surrounded by rooms. And I was standing on Sunday, and I was like, you know what? This is now the coolest room in my house.
Oh, very good.
It used to be warm in there all the time.
Because of the heater,
because of the heat from Plus, I needed to have airflow in there for the water heater because it's got to have, exhaust.
Wow.
I don't have that anymore. Now the room's blocked off. I was like, well, this is comfy. I'm spending, I'm going to do more laundry.
Yeah, that's good.
I know something that I did because, working in this industry, it's like, you're so busy telling everyone else how to do it. You have to take stock of your own home, too. So I have a bathroom that faces the south and the west. It's a corner window. And it had the acrylic block window in there. So it wasn't, a paned window. So I'm thinking that that's insulated and it's not getting that warm in there. And then suddenly I had the epiphany where, well, maybe I should put up some drapery in that corner window to keep it cooler and so it doesn't heat up during the day. And it really significantly made the difference.
That's amazing, yeah.
They have a little backing on them, but just putting up those curtains in that corner window did make a significant difference. So when I go up there at the end of the day, it's not as hot as it was.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I was thinking that the insulated block was doing it, and it wasn't. So just a simple thing like that really changed the temperature in the room.
You're adding another barrier.
Correct.
So that the direct sunlight doesn't generate heat. Yeah. Another trick on these windows now, we have double pane windows out there, but you hear this term low E windows or low emissivity, and I just looked that up what that is, and it's the emission of thermal radiation by the sun through the windows. So you can get windows now that have metal oxide coatings, and they either reflect or absorb or catch some of that heat and act sort of like a curtain or an extra barrier there. And so that's something to keep in mind too when you're looking at windows or possibly replacing a window.
Yeah, and they say triple pane windows are probably
maybe too much.
a little too much. They are offered. Single pane windows are definitely a bad idea.
Right.
You should have at least double pane windows. One of the things I tell people is, do you have sun shining on the floor anywhere inside of your house?
Good point, yeah.
If you do, especially if you have tile floors, and I have black tile floors. So if you've got sun shining in your house, that black tile floor is absorbing that like crazy and heating up. So just putting blinds up, and I've got the pull blinds that just block the sun from touching the floor changes a lot.
Good point.
I also have been putting sun sails up outside. So
that's neat,
they create a shade outside, so you can cover your windows outside that way, and so you don't get any sun on the house, but you can still see out if you want to leave your blinds open or don't want to put blinds on a specific
Yeah, that's
window.
neat. We talked about that during our gardening shows. There's different degrees of coverage, too, you can get depending on the material you choose for those outside sails.
And I picked a couple that I'm going to put right on the edge of my overhang that's over my patio that will block out 99% of the rain, too.
Wow.
So not only do they provide shade, they actually, it's like putting another little roof up there.
Nice.
So we'll talk some more about the PowerShift program and the cutesy things I'm doing in my home on Shades of Green. We'll be right back. We're back to Shades of Green on KDWN 720 AM and 101.5 FM. We're in studio with Cynthia Messina from NV Energy. We're talking PowerShift and how to keep your home efficient. When we went to break, we were talking about things like covering your windows up and what have you, and the value of high E or
low E.
Low E
Thermal emissivity.
Yeah, easy for you to say.
I know, right?
And there is also window film. You can put window film that goes on the inside of your window. I kind of like it, but I wouldn't put it on my whole house. But if you got windows that you are keeping open that face south or west, you can put that film on there, and it makes a lot of difference. You can see out, and it darkens your window a little bit, but there's multiple shades of darkness that can go on there. And then speaking of windows, and I always preach this, the biggest heat loss is air infiltration. So those gaps around your windows, any opening to the outside is letting hot air into your house. And there's always some form of exhaust going through your house, so it actually sucks air through those openings. So weather stripping around your doors, around your windows is very important, as well as, and another thing I preach is the most cost-effective energy efficiency is a tuba caulking.
There you go, yeah.
So caulking around your doors and windows and getting those leaks. I had a blower door test done where they open your front door and they zip a blower in there and they blow out, which then makes your home negative from a static pressure standpoint. So any air infiltration is now going to be drawn in through these holes. And then they go around with an infrared gun and read it. And I was amazed. The worst, without question, is can lights. It was as if a fan was blowing on me when I walked under them in my closet. They were so bad. And now when you replace them with an LED, you can get a sealed LED, and you just put a caulking around the back of that, shove it up in there, and hold it in place until the caulking dries. Now you've sealed that hole.
Very fine. Yeah.
The latch hole in my new doors was amazing, too. Is that someone was blowing a fan through that latch hole. As you walk through the door, I couldn't believe how much air was coming through there.
Wow. Just because they didn't do it tight enough when
they don't. It's tight, but it's just a hole, and it's open to the walls, which is open to the attic, which is open to the outside.
I see.
So he was showing me all the areas where air comes in, and you can actually see it in this camera running down the walls, coming down the space in the walls out to the outlets, because the outlets are open too.
Wow.
So then we get into sealing the outlets. But the worst that you really want to take a look at are the can lights and those kind of things around your doors. And then the secondary stuff is all around your trim, caulk all the way around your trim on every door and window. I do a really nice job. I tape it off first, then caulk, and then take your finger, rub it off, and then take the tape off. Then it's nice and clean and pretty.
Nice bead, yeah.
And so that's the way to do that.
Good.
So let's talk some more about shutters and shades on the inside and outside, the heat gain that changes.
Right, yeah. It's just another barrier that prevents the thermal heat from the sun getting through. So we talked earlier about just drapes are good. Blinds, reflective blinds, white blinds that will reflect the heat back out the window and prevent. I know that's always an easy one because you can turn the blinds and they open. You can let all the light in as much as you want. But when it gets hot or direct sun, then close the blinds or close the shutters, and you've got a nice layer there.
Well, I have white blinds on my sliders, and so what I'll do is I'll just crack them open just a little bit, and now all that reflective light comes in without any light coming in and hitting the floors.
Direct light, yeah, that's smart, yeah.
So let's talk numbers here. The R value of insulation, Stan. What's a good R value in your attic?
Right. I think at least R30. Does that sound right?
Yeah, R30 is good.
Yeah, and basically it's good. It's just when you're doing the insulation, and I think mostly too, you're talking about the gaps when you put insulation in, whether it's closed cell or open cell. When it's blown in, you want to make sure there's no gaps that appear after or around ducting or that sort of thing. So I think that's really important. Not just having that good R value, but making sure there's no holes in where those where your envelope is.
Well, and then another thing I learned from Les was I should have plugged all my holes going from, all the wires going down to outlets and plumbing and all of those things, duct coming up from the dryer, and all those holes should have been plugged before I insulated. I didn't do that. Bad on me. So live and learn, I guess.
We're all learning.
and I'm not going to go out and take that insulation out and change it, but that would have probably increased my efficiency by another 4, 5, 6%.
Nice.
So every little bit helps. It's putting that all together and to let people know how much difference this makes. When I first moved in and NV Energy came out, and I asked the auditor, I said, can you look at what the people paid for their bills last year? I don't want to break any HIPAA laws. And he said, sure, I can tell you. And I said, what was their August bill? $570. Now, this house had virtually no insulation, and, who knows how they ran it.
How many square feet, too?
2,600.
Wow, yeah.
So that's a lot for 2,600
Yes, it is, yeah.
Well, I just got my bill for July, and it was $230.
Well done, Paul. All right, all the improvements paid off.
But I'm a little bit of an energy geek, so I watch this closely, and I use the PowerShift program, and I've got my free thermostat. Did we mention those thermostats are free? And we got to get NV Energy out to your house and get that done. So we talked about glass and coverings. What's a low-E glass rating? Do you know the ratings on those?
Basically, it's on a scale of 0 to 1. So 1 would be total absorption, and so usually it's about 0 point something. So I think 0.90. But the lower the better. So I guess based on the glass rating, it should give you that kind of to show the thermal how much thermal radiation it blocks. It's actually a frequency
a blocking number.
Yes, yeah.
So a 0.9 is better than a 0.6.
Actually, let me check
or is it opposite of that?
I think it's the opposite. Yeah, lower is better. So,
okay. So a 0.5 low-E window is top notch. That's good stuff. I think I had them priced out as low as 0.3.
Yeah, no,
but you can't see through them. It's like putting a piece of sheet metal up there. No, I'm kidding.
Let me pop one up. I've got some examples in front of me.
And then 30 to 36 on your insulation in your attic.
R30, right?
R30.
R36, right?
And then we are going to talk about the air conditioning replacement discount for high-efficiency units. Cynthia, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that's something that we offer to our customers. It enables our customers to replace their air conditioning unit with a SEER 15 or higher, the higher energy efficiency units, and there are several contractors here in Las Vegas that will work with the customer to find a discount on the model that is best for their home, for the size of the home, for their living requirements, heating, air conditioning requirements. And so those discounts are available. We have some information on our website, nvenergy.com/PowerShift. And it's best for the customers to contact contact one of those contractors, and then they can work with them for the unit that's best for them and tell them the discount that is available for them.
So if you're contacting a contractor to contract for your work, you should contact first NV Energy to find which contractor you should contact.
Correct. Yes, I know. I
Wow.
say that
Good
10
job.
times fast, right?
Can you tell I talk for a living? So we got that. And code, by the way, is a SEER 14. And what's SEER stand for again?
Yes, seasonal energy efficiency ratio.
And what the heck's that mean?
Yeah, so they come up with that number, and it's actually some kind of average over a full year. So it's not just for peak times during the summer or that sort of thing. So that's a way of comparing. Code now is SEER 14, as we mentioned, but on older homes, the building code was didn't have those requirements years ago. So especially if you're renovating an older home. This is a good deal.
So when your auditor comes from NV Energy to install your free thermostat, have them check your SEER rating and have them tell you what it is so you can find out what it is. There is a point of diminishing return, but you should be able to go to a SEER 18, 19 and be cost effective. We'll talk some more about this when we come back to Shades of Green on KDWN. And we're back, Shades of Green on KDWN, 720 AM, 101.5 FM. I'm your host, Paul Ira. In studio, we have Cynthia Messina and, of course, Stan Hannell. We're talking PowerShift program and energy savings in your home, as well as water savings. We were talking about insulation. I'd like to point out there are different types of insulation. My favorite, personally, is foam because it seals everything. It covers all those cracks up. But it's tough to get foam in an existing home. I found that out. Nobody would give me foam in my existing home. They typically are only putting it in brand new homes. So you have a choice of cellulose, which is basically torn up paper or shredded newspaper, and fiberglass. They say the fiberglass isn't itchy anymore. I don't know about that, but it may not be. But what I did find out is the cellulose, the shredded paper, is treated so it doesn't burn. So that was your first thought. If we have a fire, this place is going to go up like newspaper. It doesn't. So it's treated so it won't burn. It actually has a higher insulation value than cellulose. And check this out, it's cheaper. So I chose cellulose and told them to put in a little extra. So it's worth paying for.
Good.
Optimum temperatures. Where should you keep your home? I think that's a personal choice, but people who are running their homes at 72 and wearing sweaters, I'll hold my comments. But that's too cold. You should be, for me, it was 79 degrees is optimum. 78 or 79 is my great sleeping temperature. I let my thermostat ride up to 85 during the day. If I'm going to be gone a long time, I just turn it off because back to the airflow thing.
Right,
once you come into the house, if the air conditioning's running and there's airflow, it doesn't really matter what the temperature is. And then back to the ceiling fans. You should have a ceiling fan running if you're in the house. Don't run it if you're not in the room. So that was a 75-watt load you're running for no reason. Motion detectors. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outdoor lights that all have motion detectors.
Nice.
So you don't have to run your lights all the time. And the reason you have an outdoor light is safety. So if the light comes on, if somebody walks up to your house and it's dark and then suddenly all these bright LED lights come on, they're like, uh-oh, they're watching, so let's get out of here. So they do save a lot of power. I changed my 150-watt outdoor light. It was amazing they had that big a light out there, to a 7.5-watt LED light.
Wow.
And I want to put in the 5.2-watt LED because the 7's too bright.
How about that?
So, you don't want to just light the whole place up. So that's when you look at the savings there, going from a 150 down to 7 watts.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's a big savings. That's 90 plus in savings. Best time of day to run washers and dryers is, I just found this out this weekend. I guess I knew it was there, but I never used it. You can set your washer up in these new washers and then put a delay on it and run it in the middle of the night.
How about that?
So when it's coolest, or if you're on a time of use program, which I'd like to talk about as well, you can run your washer and dryer in the middle of the night and dishwasher as well. And then you want to use high-efficiency equipment. Tell us about that, Cynthia. What you should look for there?
The Energy Star label is something that's very important to look for. It's a rating that when you're shopping for appliances, it will tell you how much it is to operate that appliance. So it's something that's sponsored by the government. It's that big yellow sticker that you'll see on appliances when you go to your retailer, and it'll show you how you can save on them. So,
is there a rating level, like, you've got Energy Star, but is there a better Energy Star than others, or is it just like, is there an A+ or a Gold Star Energy Star as opposed to a copper, or what?
I don't know if there's something like that.
Because I always thought that was interesting that it's Energy Star rated. Well,
it's Energy Star
everything
rated.
else has varying degrees of ratings.
Right.
So I just wondered if there was,
Yes.
a good, better, best kind of Energy Star rating.
I think they tell you about the dollar amounts. It starts there.
Yeah.
And then there might be some other things that you can look for on that label, but it's basically how much it would cost to operate that appliance on a monthly schedule.
And that's just standard operation for a family of 4.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things we talked about, or should talk about, is solar thermal water heating. Stan, you got any input on that? I've got my thoughts, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's an alternative. It's a little more expensive. A lot of people put photovoltaic solar panels on the roof, but another option, instead of putting your using, say, natural gas or electricity to heat your water, use the sun. And so there's copper piping that goes. It's a little more expensive system, but it based on costs and everything, good to evaluate for your home to see if you can save a certain amount each month, just based on putting that in. And if you are doing a photovoltaic system, it might be easier to interlay that with your system when you're working on your roof anyway.
Yeah,
so
up there anyway.
Something to look at. Yeah.
Well, I've looked at a few systems, and they have a plate system where it has, like you say, copper tubes laced into sheets. Two sheets go together, and then that absorbs all the heat. Pretty low maintenance, I think, on that, with the exception of possibly a pump and the controls. Then there's an evacuated tube, which is a glass tube that's in a vacuum, and then they fill the center of that. I saw one demonstrated by Dave Zing, and he carried it outside, hooked a hose up to it off the wall, and turned the water on. And as soon as the water came out the other end, it was hot.
Wow.
It was already
That's amazing.
hot. Within a couple of seconds, you couldn't hold your hand under it anymore. It was that hot.
That's amazing.
So
Just
it
from the
works
sun.
well.
Yeah.
Now, we don't see as much solar thermal heating as I would like to. I'm not sure if it's the pricing or the maintenance or what the deal is, but we don't see much. I think there's got to be a simplified system that goes in that someone could offer that would be easy to install and cheaper. So, what other energy conservation efficiency tips can you give NV Energy customers that'll help save money during August and September?
Well, I think pool pumps is something else that everyone's looking for their to cool off and relax by the pool. So we recommend a variable speed pool pump that can save a considerable amount of money.
And do you have a program for that?
No, we don't at this time.
Are you considering one?
I believe there have been talks about that. I know that was something that we had at one time, and it was popular with our customers. So again, when we want to put a new offering for our customers, we have to go before the Public Utilities Commission. So that's an ongoing dialogue that we have with them, how we can have other PowerShift offerings for our customers. But right now, we do not have the pool pump.
And speaking of pools, remind everyone, one of your sister utilities, SNWA, is offering $3 a square foot up to 3,000 square feet for turf removal and replacing with desert landscape, whether it's xeriscape or just barren soil.
Yeah.
So this and a lot of other great information will be passed on next week on Shades of Green on KDWN. Have a great week out there and keep it green.